Hello, this is Wolf Outdoor Review here. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the difference between the older and newer generation level 5 jackets, in my opinion. And this may be different because it's hard to read one of them, so I'm still trying to get used to the reading dates on NSN numbers or whatever, so if you have any information that would greatly help. But I do know that at some point they decided to create the level 5 jacket, and then they had like the ending. This is what I believe to be the oldest one they have, not like literally, but the last version of it before they moved over to OCP. This is what I would believe to be the beginning, because there's a few key differences that make them as such. So we'll get started. This is just a useful video for recognizing things. So starting out, we have the two pull tabs are slightly different colors. I don't know if you can tell. One's maybe stained, but one seems to me to be a little bit more of an olive drab, and the other one's an actual urban gray, I think, is the color. So there's that slight difference. They're both YKK zippers. I think the zipper themselves are the same, but that's your first indication that the older ones, more of an OD green. And then, so, there's that. And then, this is going to be a short video, but I just thought I'd go over some of the things that are different. So, moving on to number 2, we have the Velcro color. And then, more specifically, these side patches. They definitely are different, both in color and modification, so we'll just go with this. This can give you a really good demonstration of that. I'll pause the video and readjust the camera. Alright, I'm back, and so here's here's a good differential thing. I don't know if you can tell the difference between the two, but there's a different color. One's more of an olive drab, and one's more of they embrace the sage green or whatever the color is. But these two are, unlike the cameras, different. And then the big thing I noticed is this: they decided that this wasn't safe enough anymore. It's okay, I'm in a hurry, I'm gonna just kind of throw this somewhat up here, and then you end up with part of your IR beacon there. And you could put an American flag patch or whatever, assuming this is your right shoulder, but there's some that, whereas with this you get positive identification. You can positively say the IR patch has no physical way of being shown when it's in the tucked position. There's no way of accidentally, did I cover it all the way? You have a full, it goes all the way over, and it stays that way. Versus this, you have a chance of, did I cover it, did I not? And then it's just easier to sew onto this. And you can cut this off if you wanted for even more securement. And then all you have is something like, on this one anyway, you cut that off and you have no chance of an IR tab being on it. With this, you'll never be able to really cut it off completely unless you thread rip it, and I don't know, it's just an annoyance. So there's that difference. The Velcro I've noticed is different. Of course, this may be the high quality of Sterling Wear Boston, but one's this plastic stuff. This is more of a silicone rubber material. And these almost stick to each other, but it's like, see, I can pull this with 2 fingers easily. Well, I guess this would be on its own. Be like 2 fingers, rip it open quickly. With this, you're not so lucky. Give it good contact. You almost need a full hand because this really bites down into the Velcro. As you can see, and I did another video on that. On this one, when I reviewed this particular jacket, which is one of my latest. But as you can see, they're every other's the opposite direction. That one's going that way. And they're kind of big, actually. You can see the hooks on this. So versus the older generation, it is kind of everywhere and all whatever. And it's kind of hard to pick out the individual ones. These are like, if I had to guess, like fishing line sized hooks, whereas these are more, I don't know. But here's side by side difference. You can see the difference there. And one has more rigidity. Like, yeah. Once this hooks onto a loop, it's going to take a lot of effort to pull off because it's really thick. Whereas these are kind of flimsy. This is what most commercial grade Velcro is like. Unless you buy like 3M, really expensive kind. And this is translucent and made out of some nylon polyester stuff. And like I said, it's very easy to unzip. And it's probably going to go bad pretty quickly. And I've noticed I always have to pick out pieces of lint. So we'll just put it in a nice sock. You end up with it, so you end up, this is just, it'll be covered with black or whatever, versus something like this is kind of hard to grab anything other than Velcro. It will, but it's harder too, so that's one of the major differences between the two generations, older and newer. And just in case you weren't remembering, this is older. This is their latest, if I had to guess. So newer, older. And so you have the IR thing that's constantly being shown. And I don't like this look, personally. You know, people are like, what is this for? You know, this is just something ripped, so I don't like this, personally. I like the newer one, because you could keep it tucked and it looks better. Like, this just looks ratty and bad to me, so that's just my opinion. You do both have this weird grommet, button-sized grommet on the bottom. It's like looks supposed to be like a buttonhole grommet. Both of them have it. I think both are reasonably the same material. Yeah, both are around the same material. And I guess as it turns out, both of them have the, so it isn't just a Sterling Wear Boston. Both of them have a hook. So you, and then this is a good example of your color again. They used, yeah, it's not stained or the whole thing would be. But yeah, they're both, one is definitely a, let's see if I can't adjust the color. Yeah, there's definitely a just different color. And with the fact that I bought one used and one new, yeah, here's another piece of that yucky Velcro compared to the newer Velcro. So you get another comparison. They're about, the specs are about the same. So, and both wrists have stretchiness. Of course, this small is kind of more violent. Stretchy, you have a lot more room to stretch. And I'll do a updated review of this older generation, because I did one 3 years ago and I didn't do any measurements or anything. So I'll look out for another level 5 video. And then you can leave a comment if you want me to take down the old one or just wrap them both up for reference. But so there is, yeah, a little bit of a difference with that. Let's see, what else is there? Both the armpit zippers seem reasonably the same. And about the same length. So the shoulders, I think they're somewhat similar. Alright, moving on to hardware. Hardware-wise, they're kind of the same. This seems like a different buckle, or slightly different barrel lock, but they both end up having whatever these are on them. Both have around the similar cordage, if not the same. Although, this one seems a little thinner. Yeah, both of them have the, whatever these parts are called, on them. Both of them have similar-ish barrel locks. The only difference is the newer one, they decided they wanted to color in the washer. This one's black. So, older ones they didn't color in this piece. I guess they didn't see a need or whatever, but there's that. It is interesting that the newer one switched with the older one. The older one, these two colors would have matched up better, which it's hard to see, but they're the same color in my eyes. But then they decided to go for the, maybe this is dyed or washed too many times or something, but this is a lighter color than that. The older one's lighter than the newer one, which is kind of weird. And the newer ones are kind of like little slits that have been opened up. These are circular sewing holes. So it's a little bit of a difference in material there. What else is there? Let's see. I don't know. Both of them have about equal wear. They didn't really do a good job on either one of these buttons. So let's see. There. Yeah, both the buttons tend to wear pretty quickly, so eventually you're gonna remove the paint and it'll be shiny and silver or brass. But yeah. And both are interchangeable with each other. So, this is the middle part of the zipper. Both are YKK. So, not much change there. Okay. It's interesting that the name tapes might have been different too. Because I think maybe they decided to go with the name tape type thing. This name tape is about the same consistency as the arm parts, or whatever they're called. So, a little bit different color, but these two are the same Velcro style. So, I don't know if this is newer name tape or older, but they decided to go for the more violent name tape Velcro versus the flimsy Velcro everywhere else. And then, yeah, this IR part's the same Velcro versus this, which is very flimsy. It looks like a balding man versus uniform, and so I think Velcro's the major difference. And then the IR part's one of the huge differences. So, name tape, or was it, is roughly the same size. No, wait. Yeah, name tape's reasonably the same size, different color, obviously. And they're both about equally as weak. They didn't go for any new material for the female side or male, whatever. The fuzzy side is kind of the same material, just different color. Yeah. So, all right. So I would say they're mostly the same. Other than that, we'll move on to the only thing I can think of left is the hood. So the hood on the newer one has a green pretty major sized grommet on the back, and it's been you can't pull this part too far away from it, like up here. It's attached to the hood, so you can adjust pretty reasonably with on the hood. Versus well, I guess they're the same. But reasonably, the hoods are somewhat the same. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's about the same. Maybe a little bit of a difference in size. I have no clue. Only thing I can think of is you have a little bit more leftover versus this is pulled down tight. So there's that. I had to end up repairing this one. So you could see it was a bad choice of thread, but that's all I really had at the time to repair. So this had a rip in it somehow, which, if I had to guess, was probably a combat helmet. But yeah, there may be a little bit of a difference between sewing. Seems like I don't know. There's a secondary sewing line here. Here, there's that secondary sewing to the left of the ladder, whereas it doesn't seem these have it. So maybe an extra sewing step. Yeah. All right, moving on to the corner. This is where they decided to maybe switch it up. As you can see here, if I had to guess, they decided to go with copper rivets on this older generation. And here's, we'll just do a good look at everything. We'll end with a micro close-up. But yeah, I don't know what brand these things are. But there's that. Yeah. So here's the difference between the tops, older and newer. There's a slight difference, but I think there's a little bit of a shinier material on the right, and they muted down the oil or whatever consistency in the plastic a little bit. Other than that, they're absolutely the same. Yeah, the spring color's the same, maybe a little bit more the difference in the spring, I don't know. As you can see, they're about the same springs. They both have something on the drainage hole on the bottom. But yeah, the only other thing I can think of is the difference that they both have a double here, but yeah, you go from painted on the newer one to maybe black, or if it was worn away on the older one. So there's that. Both hoods roll up. Interesting. Oh wait, no, never mind. But yeah, both of them decided to keep on the hood roll up. They kept the hook and loop on the inside of the hood. This one is actually really hard. This is like, I don't even know, sandpaper material. This is a lot more nice on your neck. But yeah, this will just destroy any material it touches on your neck or whatever. And yeah, so other than that, I can't really see any difference between the two. So I guess if you care about where IR tabs are on it, and then the color, you could buy a newer versus older generation. I'll zoom in on the tags here. Here we go. It says extra small. That might be extra small short, or extra small through small sizing. Here's the NSN number, and I'll try to put what I can of the tags in the description. The NSN number is 8415-01- 546-888-6, I think. And it says jacket, soft shell, cold weather, 99% nylon, 1% lycra. And then W911QY 07-0-0003 by Proper International Inc. And then care instructions: laundering, do not dry clean. Home laundering, the garment shall be machine laundered using the delicate, gentle cycle. And it's kind of hard to read the rest, but yeah. And then there's a little bit of a difference because you have maybe some sort of inspection tag number. And I believe this was an actual ADS tactical jacket, so it had a few more tags in it. We'll check real quick. Yeah, so this was an official ADS tactical thing. Official Gen 3 ECWCS, official U.S. Army issue. A lot of people, I guess, look for this when they buy it. I don't know why, but I guess it's cool. ADS Tacticals does cool ad campaigns and stuff. So that's another factor that's different. The other one I did not have anything other than the tag up there. So you've got official Gen 3 WCS official U.S. Army issue, and then you've got ADS TM www.adstactical.com, then you have a phone number, and yeah, so that's the other tag on this. And on this smaller, this is considered a small, and so now you saw that. That was the small one, an older one. This is the newer one, made by Boston Clothing Company, I think. So, yeah, Sterling Wear Boston. Here's the tag. A little bit different, but other than size, it's medium regular. The NSN number's 8415-01-538-6813. It's 99% nylon, 1% lycra. That's the same. I think the SMP number wasn't on the other one. And it looks like about the same instructions for care. But yeah, there's a full video of this jacket on my channel, and there's a slightly older full video of the one on my channel. But yeah, so I guess there's not too much of a difference, except maybe the patches, like this number 4 rank patch is the older design, like just kind of pathetic looking hook and loop. And as you can see, they collect all sorts of garbage on them. And I'm pulling all that out, if you can. Yeah. So you're constantly having to pull that. I don't even know what this stuff is. Like, just fluff random parts out of these, so. I guess this is a better example of, like, this stuff doesn't really do a very good job of holding. Like, you could put that on and shake it enough, it'll come off, but I guess if you keep it to have bigger parts of it, you can really get a good securement. But that is the difference between the two jackets. So it's kind of a shorter video, but for those of you who wanted to know, there's very few differences. I said in the last video that there's probably a few, but yeah, my biggest thing I was trying to point out was that I wasn't sure about, like, I was pretty certain that they just got lazy on this contractor, Sterling Wear Boston, and they just decided to leave all this extra material on the innards, which I thought was weird because you only get this size amount of pocket This is all extra. But I think it ended up actually being, there's the newer side on the left. Newer, latest jacket to ever be produced in OCP. Modern, whatever. And then, let's see if I can't find the right side. Other than size difference, there's, I guess, yeah, they decided to do similar, so. Yeah. A little bit of the same, I would say. You still have, this is the only pocket, this is the only pocket, this, and this are all just leftover material, which is kind of beyond me why, but yeah. So you can see there's definitely a different color difference. This may just be fading because this thing was, when I bought it, it had been used and abused. And like this may have been used for full deployment, if I guess. So it may just be a washer machine thing. And you can, this has kind of been starched. You can see to the pattern through there, here. But yeah, there's slightly different color-wise too. But yeah, other than that, there's not really many differences. Yeah, I think your biggest thing, if you want to buy one of these, and this is just for rephrase for those who didn't hear this review I'm doing is of the ECWCS Level 5 or soft shell jacket. There's hard shells, a lot of hard shells they do, but this is the soft shell jacket that they have. This is kind of a windproof, slight mist rain proof, and it's also snowish, flurry, kind of a drier snowproof. So if you get harder rain or stickier snow, I'd switch over to your level 6 extreme cold wet weather. This would theoretically be moderate cold, drier weather. So it's the opposite of extreme cold wet weather. That would be level 6. This is more moderate cold, dry weather. So yeah, if you don't need rain protection, you just need more wind protection, you could probably use this. You could also use your level 6 if you wanted to, but there's a little bit of a difference there. I guess there's also this, which is weird. This may be the original color this was. This is 100% OD green. They must have leftover material from the woodland era. If you end up with that. Yeah, that's the darkest colored green on this jacket is this cover fabric. Actually, no, it fits in line with this. They must have been using Yeah, you two are about the same, but these are most, if I had to guess, they're reusing leftover material from the woodland era. If not, they thought maybe darker green, I don't know. But yeah, these are very dark. And then, surprisingly, you end up with that kind of same darkness color here. But these two are definitely a difference. Should be able to see. But yeah, there's an extreme difference. This is very green. This is kind of an urban gray. And then this is kind of a... yeah, that's more of an OD green as well. So, yeah, so there's a little bit of color differences. If you were to buy one, I would just say find the cheapest one in your size. I wouldn't care about modern versus not. So yeah, the big thing you need to worry about with these is size, condition, price, and yeah, those three things. And then if you wanted to, you could do color, camo color, because they do make these in ACU, multicam, and OCP. So 3 different patterns, and there may be like one of those Air Force ABU patterns as well thrown in somewhere. But, those are your 3 things. And if I had to put them in order of what I would recommend number 1, top being cost. If you can find a beat up one like this that has some repairs done to the hood, as long as the repairs are somewhat professional, which I try to do, because the big thing is, do you want this ugly thing working on the outside, or if they fold the crevices in and then sew them through here. So I tried to do a pretty good job here so that you can't tell, which I tended to go pretty bad here, but as long as the hood's repaired, whatever. I paid $2. Actually, no, I paid, maybe at worst $5 for this jacket at the time. I was really tired one day, just like borderline sleeplessness, and I was like, ugh. And then I went on Facebook and I saw, oh cool, it's a code. I guess I'll find a use for it. It's only like $5. And I was like, that's pretty cheap for Facebook or Craigslist or whatever I was using. And so I went and picked it up. I was still sleepwalked. I was like, that's pretty cheap. Might as well pick it up. I'll see what it does. So I went and bought it. The person ironically responded within like 2 minutes of me messaging them, and they're like, I'll meet you today. I was like, cool, whatever. I'm tired. And so I went and picked up the older one for $5. At worst, if I remember correctly, for $5. So I picked it up that day, like an hour later after messaging him for the first time. And I was like, cool. So I grabbed it. It smelled horrible, like cigarette smoke, and it was very dusty. And I was like, okay, cool. So I threw it in the washing machine, and on whatever the tag said, I tend to do whatever the tag says when it comes to this type of thing. And so whatever the tag said, threw it in the washing machine. It came out smelling better and not so dusty. And yeah, I had a soft shell, and I was like, cool. So I ended up wearing this. I got this like 7, 8, 10 years ago at worst. It was one of my first military surplus things I owned. So I was just like, oh, that's cool. And yeah, so there's some differences. Moving back to what we were saying about that, I would go for price. Number one, if you can get this for $20 on your local Craigslist or whatever, I would pay that. What shouldn't matter as long as you think you can repair it. Secondly would be condition. Obviously you don't want something with the sad part is people try to sell the level 7 parkas with burn holes in them all the way through the back. They're like, oh, you can put a huge like patch that's like that big on the back and it'll be fine, but they still want $100 for it. So cost and condition are two things I would be concerned about for buying these. Thirdly would be the generation. Like, as you saw, there's the newer versus older. That's something you can, like, even with ACU, if you want to keep the cost low, you can go with this pattern. If you want to be a little more fancy, you can go with the OCP, but OCPs are at least $100 bare minimum, and that might be used. So you can maybe find the ACU cheaper, like $25 if you're looking carefully. So this color is going to be we'll just say this jacket I'm holding now is your best bet. It's the older model of the ACU, which ACU is the cheapest bracket you can get into the soft shell military market on. And the only thing I would also say is you've got different subcontractors. Some people worship ADS Tactical, so if they don't buy it, if it doesn't say, this is kind of a gimmick, marketing gimmick, they're like, oh, it's official Gen 3, official U.S. Army issue. That's what they only buy ADS Tactical components of the ECWCS system. And I'll try to do a bunch of videos in the future where I pull out all my level 1, but I have like 7 pairs of level 1 shirts, and we'll go over the different contractors and what to see and all that. But the big thing you want, is like, oh, I want ADS Tactical, does it matter? Not so much. If I had to do it over again, and it wasn't a really nice Sterling Wear Boston, I tend to go towards Proper Industries. That's my number one go-to. And then if not that, then one of those random offshoots. So if branding-wise, I don't care about ADS Tactical. I'd just go for Proper Industries or some random offshoot like Boston, sterling ware Boston, But, because, yeah, I wouldn't go for anything like fancy, like, what is it, Primaloft or whatever. There's one of these that's really expensive for no reason. But yeah, that's what I would go for if you're going to buy one of these. So this has been a quick review-ish, quickish review of the difference between older and newer in regards to the ECWCS Level 5. This is just 2 examples, and as you saw in the beginning, there's a slight difference in size, so yeah, I would make sure you try to figure out what size you are. If you want to know what size you are, the best thing you can do is find a local surplus store. That doesn't mean you have to buy it there. I've gone to surplus stores just to see what I'm buying online, because obviously they might not price match or whatever. So, and then military surplus and price matching is kind of a joke anyway, but yeah, you can go to a surplus store and figure out what size you are in all the levels within reason. Like you might not be able to put on a level 1 there, but you could probably put on level 2, 3, up all the way up to 7. So yeah, I'd go to if you have time and you have one nearby, I'd go to a surplus store and figure out what you like size wise and write down. Like, I'll be back. But yeah, I thought I had a piece of paper that gave just an overview of sizes, but I don't. I threw it away or something. But yeah, there's a slight difference between everything from one to another, even if these were the same size and the same generation, or newer versus older. They could be difference between proper ink and sterling ware Boston. So, I've looked for another sterling ware Boston in size small, and I haven't found one yet, which I'd like to have, but it's hard to find. So I would just pick up what you can. Like I said, cost trumps all. If you can find it. In size, yes, size is probably up there the most second important thing. It's not the whatever I said is second. Size is definitely your second most important. If you can find an extra large regular and for $2, you might be able to buy that and sell it locally on eBay or whatever for the price you want to buy for a new one. So you may be able to buy a really cheap one that's doesn't fit, and then you could sell it for the price of the cheapest one in your size, or just, I don't know. So cost is most important. Size is second most important. What did I say third was? I guess older versus new. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was. Oh wait, no. Third is condition. So cost, size, condition, generation, older versus newer, and then color. So those are the ranked you should be looking for. So yeah, there's your just a video on the ECWCS Level 5. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can either leave a comment or email me at wolfoutdoorreview@gmail.com. That'll be in the description. I try to put it in most videos, but I've kind of forgotten for the last ones, but that'll be in the description. You can feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. All that helps me, and thank you for everyone who has done that. And yeah, I will try to respond to any comment someone gives me within a day. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment. I'm guaranteed to answer it. So, and I'll try to help you out with as much as I can. So yeah, that has been a video of the differences between older and newer ECWCS Level 5 with an ACU. So they have changed a few little things, but there's not that much, surprisingly. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.